fund 12U teams is the question. Y'all got 1 million people in San Antonio. There's no.
Hold on. How long has the Kalinko Chiefs been in Taifa? How long has the Kalinko Chiefs been in Taifa?
2012.
6 years.
2012.
For 6 years, you've been at the odd age groups. 1 year, you go to the even age groups, and trust me, there was just as many complaints when that occurred. And now they decide, you know what, it's not working. We see it. It's clear. It's not working. We're having a lot of problems. We decide to go back to what made Taifa unique. And you're complaining.
I don't know. I don't think it's. I think it's more to it than. I don't think Taifa will come out and say it, but I think it's more to inside stuff than it is actually the age groups. Like if you think about it, if they go back to it, how many teams there's at least?
Why is it every time there's a change in Taifa, it's about money?
Because even on Brian Morgan, he just said money. He brought up money with paying for Frisco and paying for McCain. Where does all the money go that the organization spend? The $500, the $750, the $900, whatever it is for new registration fees every year. The money that the kids pay to register, the $15, the $35 that the coaches do. There's a lot of money that goes into the Taifa. And nobody knows where it goes.
And there's a lot of money that gets put out.
Yeah, but nobody knows where it goes.
That is a bunch of bull. Okay, it has been put out several times. It was been put out during the meetings every March where that money goes. If you're not paying attention to it, then you're not realizing it. There is a lot of money that gets put out. Taifa has one of the most unique and one of the best working certification process software that is out there. So much that there are leagues all over the nation wanting to get a piece of what we have. And it costs money to have that stuff to make the process good.
Let me clear. I'm not trying to down Taifa because I do enjoy playing. My kids playing in Taifa. I do enjoy coach in Taifa. But you look at it. You got 80 organizations who did 12U this year. Now you're going to go back to the odd age groups and bring back the senior. It seems like they're trying to get more senior teams to come back because they're doing 12U, and then 1 year they're switching it back. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, last year in the 11U, the juniors, when it was 11U. That was the strongest age group in Taifa. The senior division has struggled year after year after year. Teams that we'd start out with a bunch of teams, and by the time we got halfway through the season, a bunch of senior teams would drop out, and we'd be lucky if we had 7 or 8 senior teams. Correct?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
okay. Since the age change, since we changed it this year, and the junior level became a 12U, there have been more organizations that have had to drop and request a waiver to drop their 12U organization, or have managed to hold on to a 12U, but just barely, and they're no longer able to compete. And that's not even having a senior level. So does it not make sense to go back to what was working than to stay in something that is not?
Just because Kenny, you can't say it didn't work because there's over 60 organizations that have 12U, at least 60.
I'm telling
you. So
you
can't say it's not working.
It's not working. It's not working. You're looking
the
at
number
it
says it is.
You're looking at it as a Killeen thing, and just because you're looking,
I'm not looking at just Killeen. I'm not looking at just Killeen, Kenny. Killeen has. I mean, of course, I live in Killeen, but that's not what I'm saying. Like I think overall it's better the even age groups because you align with everybody now. If a odd age group team wants to scrimmage anybody before the season to get prepared for the regular season, every odd age group we got to either travel 4 hours to go to somebody in Dallas or Houston because nobody in our area has odd. Everybody has even. Everybody's doing even age groups. When we switch to the we can scrimmage anybody because now we align with every other organization around because everybody does even.
But it didn't work. It's not working.
That's my thing.
But see, you're not looking at it as a whole. You're not looking at it as a whole. Again, you're going back to what works for you, what works for Killeen, what works for the Chiefs. it's not working for Taifa.
Kenny, it's not about the Chiefs or Colleen because Colleen did it at odd age groups.
But
we've done it at odd age
you
groups.
keep going back to that, Paulo. You keep going back to the same thing. It keeps going back to what works for you and your team, what Colleen is able to do. But if we go back to this, then you have to travel here just to scrimmage somebody. Well, I'm sorry. This is what Taifa has always been. They tried it 1 year. It's not working. It hasn't worked out. We've had nothing but issues. We've had nothing but problems with teams having to forfeit or even have to drop their junior team.
I mean, I guess it's a 50-50 situation. 50% says yeah, or 50% says it doesn't. When I look at the Taifa website and I see 40 D2 teams and I see 35 D1 teams and I see over 90% of them have 12U. It's just hard to see what you guys see because I don't see the emails that y'all get, of course. And we don't hear the complaints because everybody we talk to is like, yeah, we like 12.
Yeah, people like the 12.
I just think
but they're just as much, if not more, saying they can't hold them.
I just think Taifa is prematurely jumping away from the 12 is what I'm saying. I think it's premature. I think they need to do 2 or 3 years and try it. After 2 or 3 years, if you say, yeah, you got the same issues, then of course, yeah, you got to go back to the odd age groups. But if you're not willing to give it 2 years, at least 2 years to see, because now you got to prepare for the 12U, it's hard to, is what I'm saying.
Well, I can tell you this right now. From my view, looking at the whole area, the whole league, which is what I have to look at when I'm doing my show, when I'm looking at standings and everything else. If we waited 2 to 3 years, we would lose the junior division completely. We would lose the junior division.
I guess,
and you can say you don't see that, but
Taifa loses. No, I was going to say, but Taifa loses and gains organizations every year. That happens. That happens every year. Taifa loses 10 organizations and they gain 10 and lose 2. It happens. Every year that I've been with Taifa, that always happens. But I mean, I understand. I understand what you're saying and what Taifa's saying. It's confusing to us because we're preparing for 12U and we get 12U and it looks on the outside to us like it's going good. And everybody that we see, it looks like it's going good because we're a small city, so all are able to fund 12U teams. So it looks like everything's going good.
Well, and like I said,
but to you guys, like it's internally.
Colleen is doing great at the 12U. I get it. You guys have done it. You've made the 12U work. But other areas are not working. They're having problems. Icon Raiders can't even make a game.
Like I said.
Icon Raiders, who are strong, one of the strongest 11U teams in the past 2 to 3 years, can't even field a team. Not even showing up to games. Those are the kind of issues we're seeing all around the league, not in Colleen. So those are the things.
Like I said, it's 50-50 because we don't see, and I'm not just saying speaking of Colleen, I'm saying everybody who's not in this situation, we're getting emails from the coaches and administration. We don't see what's going on inside. We only see what's going on outside. And outside, it looks like it's working. But like I said, when you're standing on the outside looking in.
All right. Thanks for calling in, Polo.
All right.
Bye. All right, 979-353-4421. Number line's open. Who else has something to say? I got a message earlier from Alan Guyton, wanted to know what the number was from the Del Valley Ducks. I put the number up, 979-353-4421. Going once. Going twice. Sold. All right. That's it. Thanks for joining us here on Taifa Radio. We're going to call it a night. Don't forget, the championship date has changed. It is December 15th. 1 day of championship game. one day. Championship Day is December 15th, and it's going to be at McLean Stadium in Waco, Texas, home of the Baylor Bears. Thank you for joining us. We are going to get on out of here as soon as I can find. There it is. Thank you very much. Y'all have a great night, and good luck as we head into Week 8 of the Typhus season. Peace out.
You've been listening to Typhus Radio, part of the Typhus Sports Network. Typhus Radio is sponsored by Dick's Sporting Goods, All-Star Inflatables, Monarch Trophy Studio, GTM Sportswear, Hit Check, Game Day Films, Masters Transportation, Game Breaker, and Shadow Man Sports. I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally.